A very good evening to you and welcome to our Primetime News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Before we go into your stories in detail, here's a look at the headlines for tonight.
Sri Lanka and India ink 4 bilateral agreements, including first agreement on civil nuclear cooperation. 26 tractors suspected to have been used by drug kingpin Belesudha discovered in Kalania. Complaint alleging fraud in the acquisition of lands in Slave Island lodged at the Bribery Commission.
On to your top story tonight, Reuters news agency reports that Sri Lanka's bid to postpone the publication of a United Nations report into alleged war crimes has won the backing of UN human rights chiefs Zaid Rad Al Hussein. Reuters reports that in a letter to the President of the UN Human Rights Council, which set up the investigation in March last year, Zaid recommended delaying publication from next month until the Council's 30th session, which is due to take place in September.
In the letter, Zaid wrote, quote, "My request is based on the changing context in Sri Lanka and the signals of broad cooperation I have received from the government, as well as the possibility that new information will become available for the report," unquote. The Council will determine the report's final publication date, although Zaid's opinion will be influential in its decision, according to foreign media. Reuters also reported that in his request to the Human Rights Council, Zaid appended a letter from Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira, which set out reforms that the new government planned to implement within 100 days.
Over the past several days, Newsfirst reported that work on the Colombo Port City project is continuing unabated in spite of statements made on the contrary. What is the situation today? Hisrina Hisbi joins us from the construction site.
I'm currently at the Port City project in Colombo, which is in close proximity to the Gold Face Green. Now yesterday, right about at the same time, we also brought to you that work is being continued here, which proves that 24/7 work is being conducted continuously here at the Colombo Port City project. Stay tuned to News First as we keep you informed on this development. For the News First team, I'm Hisrina Hisbi.
Speaking to News First, Arjuna Ranatunga, the Minister of Ports and Shipping, offered an explanation on the Port City project. Incidentally, the Minister is also a member of the committee appointed to review the project.
We have discussed this in Cabinet and we decided to appoint a committee to review this project. The main factor here is the environment impact assessment. We are dissatisfied with this report and we have to decide whether to continue with this project after we have assessed the report. If this project will have a harmful impact on the country, then we must make a decision in Cabinet. I think we also need to go beyond that and look at the land. Usually in our country we give 99-year leases, but in certain instances deeds have been given to certain persons. We know that there is a problem in our country when granting deeds in this way. So we need to look into this and move forward. Now we need to look into the environment impact assessment, and then if the project is to go ahead, we need to hold talks with the company in question. We are hoping to bring about a process that would be advantageous and beneficial to our country.
Meanwhile, General Secretary of the JVP Tirvin Silva shared these views regarding the project.
Mahinda Rajapaksa did amazing things. He dug up the earth and built a port. He reclaimed land from the sea to build a city. There is no shortage of land in our country. There's plenty of land in the city of Colombo itself. This will not yield any results for Sri Lanka either. When you reclaim land from the sea will claim it from elsewhere, and this is the nature of the sea. We do not know where the sea will take it from. When the surface area is 550 acres, they will need about 1,000 acres of rock on the bed to hold it all together. Now they are reclaiming land unrestrained. There are instances in this world where land has been reclaimed from the sea to build cities, but they dug from the sea and used that soil. When you use stone, you will need millions of cubes. They are going to demolish all the mountains in Sri Lanka and dump it all here.
United People's Freedom Alliance MP Mahinda Amaravira said that projects that were commissioned by the former government will not come to a halt. He made this statement at an event held in Ambalantota yesterday.
Soon after taking over office, an announcement was made saying that the construction work of the Northern Expressway will come to a standstill. At the time of those announcements, the foreigners go and meet the leaders of the UNP. When they are given a handful of money, they resort to commencing the construction work. None of that will come to a halt. Packer pulled the plug only for a little while. We know when there was an announcement saying that James Packer pulled the plug on the proposed casino project, here the UNP had asked him to wait until the end of the upcoming election. They have received an amount of the promise of enabling the project after the elections. We have seen that while investigating the probing other corruption, they are involved in a corruption scandal of their own, bringing the Chinese and the contractors down. The ones who earned a living during their tenure under our government are now earning the same under their government. The ones who earned every cent by being with President Mahinda Rajapaksa are now doing the same there.
Four bilateral agreements, including the first bilateral agreement on civil nuclear cooperation between India and Sri Lanka, were signed in New Delhi today. The signing took place parallel to President Maithripala Sirisena's maiden state visit to India.
President Maithripala Sirisena received a ceremonial welcome today before meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj, hoping to boost bilateral ties between the two countries. Greeted by Indian President Pranab Mukherjee and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, President Sirisena walked down the red carpet at India's presidential palace in New Delhi, the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Later in the day, the President laid a wreath at the memorial to India's peace icon, Mahatma Gandhi. The visit was followed by a meeting with Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj, during which the two discussed bilateral and regional issues. 4 bilateral agreements were signed during the meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. These include agreements on civil nuclear cooperation, fisheries, agriculture and culture. In their joint statement to the media following their meeting, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the civil nuclear agreement was a sign of mutual trust between the two neighbours.
The bilateral agreement on civil nuclear cooperation is yet another demonstration of our mutual trust. This is the first such agreement Sri Lanka has signed. It opens new avenues for cooperation, including in areas like agriculture and healthcare.
He also spoke on the continuous fishermen issues.
President and I attach the highest importance to the fishermen's issue. It affects livelihood on both sides. We agreed that there must be a constructive and humanitarian approach to the issue. We will encourage the Fishermen's Association on both sides to meet again soon.
For his part, President Maithripala Sirisena pointed out that an opportunity had arisen for both nations to cooperate in international forums. The President said he hoped the renewed friendship would benefit both the countries. The Indian Prime Minister also thanked President Sirisena for selecting India for his maiden state visit.
26 tractors suspected to have been used to transport heroin smuggled by the notorious drug kingpin Samatha Kumara alias Velisuda have been found from a warehouse in Singharamulla, Kelaniya.
The discovery was made during investigations carried out by the Police Narcotics Bureau. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana stated that internal parts of the tractors were missing when police made the discovery. He added that it is suspected that the stocks of heroin were placed in the gearboxes of the vehicles in order to be transported.
It is clearly evident that heroin was smuggled into the country concealed in the gearboxes of the tractors. Investigations are being carried out regarding the person that hired the vehicles and the two Pakistani nationals. Vele Sudha has smuggled in heroin into the country together with his Pakistani partner in numerous ways. He had smuggled heroin inside grease tins and inside iron nails. It is clear that he had smuggled heroin inside tractors too. However, we were not able to find them. The heroin has been removed from the tractors. We will be carrying out extensive investigations into this matter and we will take into custody every single person who is connected to this.
අපි අකණ්ඩ විමර්ශන සිදු කර මේ සිද්ධීන් වලට අදාළ සියලු පාර්ශවයන් අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීමට ක්‍රියා කරනවා.
Various views were expressed today regarding the rally that has been organized for the 18th of this month in Nugegoda by a group of politicians including Uday Gamanpila and Bimal Weerawansa.
Mahinda Rajapaksa is not participating. The SLFP has issued a statement that they are not involved in it. Gamanpila extended a challenge prior to this as well, and when he failed, he did not resign. Forget 5,000, Vimal cannot even bring 200. If Dinesh, Vimal and Uday Gamanpila contest the election alone, all three of them will not be able to enter parliament. If need be, I too will contest alone. I will extend this challenge to them if they wish.
I invite him today to bring his statement announcing his resignation from politics and come to Nugegoda on the 18th. We will provide two facilities for him. We will provide the crowd so that he can do a head count. At the same time, we will also give him the opportunity at our rally to announce his resignation from politics, which will be an important and decisive political statement in our country.
We in the Sri Lanka Freedom Party will not be participating. Our General Secretary has informed us that there is no need for us to participate.
After this, a news item aired on the main bulletin at 7 p.m. on our sister channel Sirasa TV. Asad Sali contacted Newsfirst and made the following statement.
I heard after our press conference today, Udetna Ratna Gamampila has made a statement that he will make special arrangements for me to come there and to have a head count. All that is not necessary. And what is the credibility Uday Gamanpila has to speak about these things when Mahinda Rajapaksa is not coming? When the PA has already issued a statement, what more do you want? And the UPFA has very clearly stated the 5.8 million votes that was taken is not Mahinda Rajapaksa's vote but belongs to the UPFA. So this very clearly indicates that these people are trying to bring in a person who has gone in for retirement. They want to come in his name because I have challenged them. If Uday Gamanpila can, if Tummule Vimala can, if Dinesh can, if Vasu can contest on their own political parties and win, I am prepared to take that challenge. I am prepared to come independently and contest. If they all four are ready to accept it, I will also accept it. There is no two words about it. But these people's credibility is at stake. Especially Uday Gamanpila, who is known as the Madam Smartya, must come out and tell what he wants to do. He just can't be selling Mahinda Rajapaksa's name.
A complaint was lodged with the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption today, claiming that fraud had taken place in the process of acquiring lands in Slave Island for a luxury housing development.
While a section of the people who lost their homes as a result of the Urban Development Authority acquiring these lands consented to receive a rent allowance, another group demanded compensation. However, the complaint filed at the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption today claims that while this transaction was corrupt, lands were acquired after bribing government officials. The investor and the local representative have been cited as respondents in this complaint.
In our petition, we point out that this land was not acquired for the welfare of the country. It was taken over so that it could be granted to businessmen. The people who lived there have been left homeless. We say that the third respondent gave bribes.
Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of Justice Sujiva Senasinghe, who provided legal aid at the time to the people who lost their homes, met with the people today.
These racketeers have come forward once again to entrap the relevant ministers via the Urban Development Authority. These racketeers come forward at these instances in order to secure vast sums of money. I have informed the Prime Minister and Minister Dinesh Kankanda to stop this.
We expect that the new government will return our lands and reveal to the country the arbitrary transactions of the former government. We hope that compensation will be paid to the poor and the innocent.
We were suddenly destitute. If we were to rent a house, we would have to pay 60,000 rupees a month more. We cannot get homes for 25,000. Even now, we are paying 30,000.
When I spoke to the officials, the Urban Development Authority informed me that each perch has an estimated value of 6 million. So if there are 5 perches, the value would be 6 times 5 or about 30 million. That is how much needs to be paid to these people. We will submit this to the necessary authority to secure these rights. We will submit this to the Prime Minister and the President.
A case filed by the police against a group of people who blocked the Colombo Municipal Council from disposing of waste in the Mithotamula area in Colonau was taken up today. The Mayor of Colombo informed court that steps had been taken to initiate a project to transport the waste to a location in Puttalam instead. Lawyers appearing for the residents admitted that the landfill must be removed from the area altogether.
Lawyers appearing for the residents informed court today that they cannot allow for the waste to be dumped here and then transported to Puttalam, as stated by the mayor. It was also stated in court today that the project has been proposed to use the waste to generate electricity, and residents had acquiesced to this proposal. Colombo Additional Magistrate Nirosha Fernando instructed the relevant parties to make submissions to court regarding the project in question at the next hearing.
The court ordered us to implement a new program as soon as possible and to expedite the program to transport the waste to Puttalam via train. An order was issued for this to be expedited. We were told to submit further reports on the 27th. The dumping of waste will only stop after 6 months until after they have made inquiries into this and taken a decision to stop the dumping of waste. We are satisfied with this situation, but an order was also issued to the Environment Authority to conduct an inquiry into this. The Municipal Council is attempting to initiate a billion-rupee project to take the waste to Puttalam while they have plenty of projects in hand to deal with this problem. We have a suspicion as to why the CMC is doing this. In truth, the proposal to transport the waste to Puttalam is not practical. We question why the CMC, which is running after impractical projects, is not supporting practical projects.
The case is to be taken up again on the 27th of this month.
Actress Sonia Disa was arrested by the Slave Island police for trespassing on the new Sama Samaj party office premises. However, she charges that the house which is owned by her was being unlawfully acquired by Vikramabahu Kanaratna.
A group of people, including actress Sonia, had taken steps to remove all the items that were housed at the Sam Samaja Party office premises located along Barak Road, Colombo 2. Actress Sonia Disa said that the relevant building was given to former Minister Vasudeva Nanayakkara 20 years ago. I gave the house to Vasudeva Nanayakkara on basis of friendship, and I built a house in Kalubovila. I acted in a movie directed by Yasapalta Nanayakkara thereafter. As I was requested to give the house to his brother at the time, I decided to give it to him. I did not even know that he had left the house, giving it to Vikramabahu. I do not recognize this so-called Vikramabahu. He may be holding big posts now, but I do not consider him as a big person. A tense situation arose as the belongings of Sonia Disa was offloaded at the house in question. As the group entered the party office, the leader of the new Samsamaja party, Vikramabahu Karunaratne, was not present at the time. Party leader Vikramabahu Karunaratne later arrived at the party office accompanied by the police.
මම අවුරුදු 40ක් ජීවත් වෙච්ච ගෙදර මේ මගේ දේශපාලන වැඩ කටයුතු කරන්නේත් මෙතන.
This is the house I lived for almost 40 years. This is where I do my political work. Using the powers vested with him, former Minister Vimal Veeravansa had proclaimed that the house belongs to Sonia Dissa. That is a wrong judgment. There is law and order in the country. Acts against law and order was carried out during Mahinda Rajapaksa's administration. Keeping in line with the law, if a person should be sent out of a house, that order should be given by the courts.
I don't have a place of my own. This is what belongs to me. This is what was given to me by law. This is the deed. This consists everything. The Slave Island police had summoned both parties to the police station. Thereafter, 6 persons, including Sonia Dissa, was produced before the Fort Magistrate Court this afternoon.
President's Counsel Fazil Mustafa has requested for the appointment of a presidential commission to be established in order to launch extensive investigations into a number of incidents, including the incident in Alupgama. He made this statement at a media briefing held today.
I would like to take this opportunity to make a humble request under the 100-day program of good governance that several incidents of religious violence must be corrected under the 100-day program of good governance. Action must be taken against several acts of violence against our places of worship. I requested from the previous government, from the former president, to appoint a presidential commission in order to investigate this. He promised to do so, but it never came to pass. Thereby, I request the new president, Maithripala Sirisena, to appoint a presidential commission on religious violence and look into how much problems can be prevented. I believe the whole world is waiting to see whether those responsible will be brought to court and punished.
Still to come up on the news tonight. Minnows Ireland stunned the West Indies with a dominant performance with both bat and ball. All the action from the 2015 Cricket World Cup coming up on Sports First.
Welcome back to the news. 15 Major Generals and 3 Brigadiers have been transferred under the orders of Army Commander Lieutenant General Daya Ratnayaka. According to Army media spokesperson Brigadier Jana Javira said that the transfers were granted based on service needs. He further added that the transfers will come into effect from today.
Moving on to more news, Saudi Arabia's Supreme Court in Jeddah has upheld the death sentences handed down to 3 Sri Lankan nationals for the 2007 murder of 60-year-old Yemeni Omar Yezlem. Now, the trio had been sentenced to death while 3 others, also Sri Lankan nationals, were handed out jail terms and lashings.
All 6 were charged with robbery, sowing dissent on earth and threatening public order and peace. 5 Indians also involved in the crime were sentenced by the court to varying terms of imprisonment and lashings. Arab News said the Jeddah Supreme Court had forwarded the copy of the verdict to the governor of Mecca, seeking approval for the execution of the judgment. It also said that the judgment had been recently affirmed by a 5-member panel of judges presided over by the Chief Justice. The panel pronounced it as a case that disqualified the accused from seeking pardon on the payment of blood money.
Amnesty International has expressed hope that promises made by the new government in Sri Lanka to end impunity and promote the rule of law in Sri Lanka, pursue reconciliation between all communities and rebuild Sri Lanka's international relationships will translate into prompt action to repair the enormous damage done to human rights and the rule of law in the country over past decades.
In a written statement to the 28th session of the UN Human Rights Council, which will be held from the 2nd to the 27th of March, Amnesty International acknowledged in particular the importance of Sri Lanka's actions to restore the independence of the judiciary and other institutions essential to the protection and promotion of human rights by remedying the unconstitutional dismissal of the former Chief Justice and restoring constitutionally independent checks on executive power. Amnesty International notes that while the new government has pledged to reinvestigate high-profile killings, including the January 2009 murder of newspaper editor Lasantha Wickramatunge, it should add that the killing of 17 aid workers in Muttur and killing of 5 students in Trincomalee in 2006 to their list of priority cases, as well as the case of the disappearances of dissident cartoonist Pragit Eknaligoda in 2010 and political activist Lalit Veeraraj and Kugan Murugandan in 2011. Amnesty International has also reiterated its call to the government of Sri Lanka to cooperate fully with the Office of the High Commissioner of Human Rights inquiry on Sri Lanka, including by responding positively to the outstanding request to visit Sri Lanka and by providing them with full access. Furthermore, the rights watchdog has also called for the repeal of the Prevention of Terrorism Act and the abolition of the system of administrative detention.
Chief Minister of the Northern Province, C.V. Vigneswaran, says that as a result of the responsibility being vested in the Northern Provincial Council and power being vested in the governor, the provincial government had become observers rather than servers of their community.
Vigneswaran was speaking at the Northern Province Special Coordinating Meeting held today under the chairmanship of the Minister of Public Administration, Provincial Councils, Local Government and Democratic Governance, Karu Jayasuriya.
Almost a lakh of war widows, many of them still quite young, suddenly becoming the sole breadwinners of their families. We have about 20,000 immobile patients whose vertebral columns have been injured. We have a number of human beings who have lost one or more of their limbs. We have so many orphans who need to be immediately rehabilitated and restored to a humane environment and to be given proper education. We have so many of our dear brothers and sisters in this province who are affected by psychosomatic conditions and who need psychotherapy, who need some words of concern and encouragement which we are unable to provide due to the lack of psychiatric counseling staff. Even certain areas of our lands and consequently the wells underneath are polluted by waste oil. As a very senior member of this government, as a person recognized by all and sundry as a humane being, I am sure these matters are of great concern to you. Administrative power bases being set up by the governor on one side, governmental ministers on the other, and our officials torn between the devil and the deep blue sea, we were observers rather than servers of our community, of our humanity.
Today marks the 27th death anniversary of late founder of the Sri Lanka Mahajana Party, veteran actor Vijay Kumaratunga.
A memorial event to mark the 27th death anniversary of Vijay Kumaratunga was held in Katunayake today in the vicinity of the statue of the late politician. Following multi-faith religious observances, the gathering paid floral tributes to the statue of the late Vijay Kumaratunga. A group including politicians and members of Kumaratunga's family were present at the occasion. Speaking at the event, MP Felix Pereira commented on the current political climate.
If there are accusations of bribery or corruption, even if it is against me, I am the first to propose that even I should not be given a nomination. There is a section in the alliance at present. Even the United National Party has become an alliance today. This alliance is not something that was created recently. There are various views within the alliance. Let them express their views, but we need to inquire into which alliance will face the election.
Another leg of the program implemented to look into the problems faced by the people of Mathura was held at the premises of the Moravaka Fair today.
The program, conceptualized and implemented by parliamentarian Buddhika Pathirana, is carried out by visiting segments of society and inquiring into their problems. The public welcomed the MP who arrived at the premises of the Moravaka Fair.
Politics is in existence to look into the issues of the people, whatever form it takes. Politicians who live with such issues are those who remain undefeated. It is often questioned in Parliament as to where the 6 politicians who joined the opposition are. Therefore, we have proved to you how to work for the people amidst all the threats, trials and tribulations. So the other politicians also must copy this. They are at a loss if they don't. If they do, it is for the benefit of the people.
Newsfirst has received reports that the Oliville Harbour, which was constructed with the promise of connecting the eastern province with the world, has been abandoned and is not being made any use of.
The Oliville Harbour was constructed in 2008 with aid from Denmark. Reports say that a sum of more than 46 million euros was spent on this port. Residents even had to sacrifice their homes when lands were acquired for this project. The port was built over an area of 64 acres comprising of a 28-acre land area and a 15-acre sea area. While operations commenced on the 1st of September 2013, the port has reportedly been abandoned at present. The people of the eastern province are calling on the new government to rejuvenate the harbour so that it can generate employment and strengthen them economically.
Well, Ireland cemented their position as a team which causes some of the biggest upsets by successfully chasing 305 runs to beat West Indies by 4 wickets with 25 balls to spare. This was coincidentally the first time Ireland beat West Indies in a one-day international match.
After Ireland won the toss and decided to field first, West Indies lost their first 5 wickets for 87 runs at Nelson. 3 out of those wickets were captured by slow left-arm orthodox bowler George Dockrell. The 6th dismissal was Darren Sammy. However, before being dismissed, Sammy and Lendl Simmons managed to build a partnership of 154 runs. Sammy's knock of 89 runs out of 67 balls included 9 fours and 4 sixers. Simmons recorded his 2nd century in the ODI format in 84 balls today. His knock included 9 fours and 5 sixers. West Indies during their 50 overs managed to score 304 runs for the loss of 7 wickets.
Saved away and will be out, I think. Dockrell it is and takes him.
In reply, Ireland skipper Williamson Portfield and Paul Stirling recorded 71 runs for the first wicket partnership. Paul Stirling and Ed Joyce recorded 106 runs for the second wicket partnership. They scored 92 and 84 respectively. Neil O'Brien made an unbeaten 79 to guide the Irish to a historic victory. Ireland won the match decisively with 25 balls and 4 wickets to spare.
But there you go, that's a wrap of Primetime News at 9 tonight. It was an absolute pleasure having you with us. I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Do take care and good night.